Hello artists, how are you today? Stephanie Aune coming to you from the banks of the Trinity River here near Willow Creek, California. Oz and I welcome you to the studio. We are very happy that you are here with us today. It's going to be an intro video to our next project. Or maybe I'll talk about more than one project, not really sure, but we got some great stuff coming up. We really do. We have some really cool projects going to be happening. I was brainstorming with Kat. Of course, you guys know Kat Austin is my admin over at Messy Hands. And when the two of us get together, the ideas just, we bounce off each other. We talk about things, we chat about things, and oh my gosh, I have some really cool ideas, really cool plans. So, basically, on both Patreon and YouTube, I have a spot that has been vacated by this book being finished, right? That's the Creating Your First Altered book. And in that book, we really talked about how to choose a book, you know, what's gesso used for, what's ephemera, what's gesso transfers. We talked about so many different things that are kind of your basic building blocks on a book. And I've definitely kept that one more simple in construction. Like the circus book that's right next to it, that thing is Masterclass ×3. That thing is a feat in construction, and I love that. I don't expect people to do that book with me. That is more challenging myself to see how far I can push this concept of an altered book. And let me tell you guys, I can push it pretty far. I can. Like, whoa, yeah, I can do that. Of course, we have Masterclass over on Patreon, which again is a more advanced bookmaking process, and it's working in a large-scale book. Loving that book also. And I love to see those of you that are following along with me and working on some of the projects in there. It's pretty intense. It is. So we will continue to do Masterclass, the coffee table art book on Patreon. And we're going to finish up the circus book here on YouTube. But we need to have kind of a more simple, accessible book here on both Patreon and YouTube, so that I can continue to bring you guys 4 videos a week. If you are on Patreon, you get 2 videos a week. And if you are on YouTube, you get 2 videos a week. So if you do have the ability to support the channel, guys, your pledge of $10 really does make a huge difference in my life. That link is down in the comments, and I'm not going to go through all of your benefits right now, but there are a lot of benefits that you get. And plus, you will get so many images. Oh, I've had people ask, all of the circus book images are actually on Patreon already. Every image, and there's hundreds of images that I did not use in this book that are over on Patreon. So your support would be greatly appreciated. Anyway, we're gonna not talk about that anymore. And here's our new project. So this project, this book, is going to be worked on both here on regular YouTube and on Patreon. And so I'm having to really think about how I want this to work out, because here on YouTube, we're going to work on the Secret Garden. And then on Patreon, we are going to work on Simple Exposure. Yes, we are. We will meet somewhere in the middle. So this one, I'll be working upside down, front to back. And then on this one, I'll be working right side up, front to middle. So it's our brainstorming just is phenomenal. I swear to God, Kat, love you, darling. And oh my God. Wow. So yes, this is going to be both YouTube and Patreon. And all right, so I'm having to think about this more than what I normally have to. So with this book, since I was just really trying to show you different techniques, different products, different things that you should know, I could kind of, it didn't have a theme other than the theme is me, right? In this book, it's things that I love, things that I relate to, and that's what I want to push us to do. That's what this book is 100% about, this new book. Circus book is a themed book. It's themed on the circus, but it's still themed on things that I love. And your art is going to be better if you have your heart in it. Always, always, always. So if you're just putting down some random images, from some magazine, it's not going to be as good as something that you can just feel, right? Right? So I am going to continue to push us to create our own art. We will probably be using vintage photographs like I love to do, or like just sitting here, an Alphonse piece, whatever. I do not want to use magazine images from recent artwork because I think it's kind of bogus to do. And even if it's just for yourself and you worry about the copyright and all of that, I think that it's much better for us to really think about expanding our artistic abilities and pushing ourselves a little bit more. I'm still going to try to take it down to the basics for you. That's I want to give you the building blocks and let you know that you can do this. Anyways. Let's talk about the book. Super, super excited. This is just going to be awesome. All right. I know that we talked about this on the last book, but let's go ahead and kind of do a quick refresher. What type of book do we want to use? That light. Let me see if I can get this one to quit glaring on me. Okay. So this book has signatures. Signatures. What's a signature? A signature is a group of pages. Let me just pull this out here. I've pulled a lot of pieces of paper out of this already. Okay, so a signature is a group of pages that are you guys shouldn't be looking at this. Stacked on top of each other. And sewn into the binding. It's a sewn binding, not a glued binding. This one fooled me. This one I thought had signatures. It does not. This one is glued. And how do I know it is glued? I know it is glued because they have single pages. It's single pages. It's not, a folded piece of paper stacked upon each other. So sometimes a book will fool you. This one really does look like it has signatures. I was pulling pages out of it, and it didn't occur to me, and it's going in the garbage because it's not. I pulled off the cover. I kept the cover, and the cover will be used for something down the road, but the pages aren't interesting enough to keep. It was a book that I picked up for $0.25. Not every single book is precious. So we have to kind of look at our books in that direction, as people will be like, how are you ruining that book? Why are you ruining it? You're not ruining it. You're repurposing it and you're making it into artwork. So definitely, if you find a vintage book that's a first edition, check out the value before you decide to tear it up and use it. That would be my number one suggestion. But other than that, what you want is a book that has a very strong binding here. Oh. See how that is kind of pulling away there? We're not going to worry about that, though, because I am going to go through and reinforce every single page that I'm going to be working on. I do not want my book to fall apart. So we know that when we alter a book, it stresses the book out. And here's why. This is just a normal one. This is not something that's elaborate. Look at this guy. This guy is over 6 inches thick, right? So if we start out and plan to reinforce every page before we, jump in and make the page, we're not going to have any issues with it, right? Right. So that's just going to become my practice. You can do whatever you want to, but then when your book falls apart, don't say, oh no, what do I do when my book falls apart? Well, you put fabric in the seams. Or whatever you want to put in the seams. I prefer fabric, of a thinner fabric. I've used a lot of cotton, like the calico prints or the Baltic prints, but I'm going to use sari silk, I think. I have a couple skirts that I can cut up that they're too short. They don't look right. So anyways, I digress. Okay, so I'm having to plan this book. Let's first show you. Choose something with strong pages. Choose something with a strong binding. Choose a book that is in halfway decent condition. If you choose a book that is not in good condition, it's going to fall apart. You might think, oh, it's so cool, it looks so old. It doesn't matter. Every single page and the cover is going to get covered. It doesn't matter how old the pages are. You do not have to have browned pages, right? A little bit of age is nice. This one has a little bit of age to it. It doesn't have a ton of age. There's really no damage to the book. I would guess that this book, the illustration's copyright 1944. So, it might actually be a first edition. I got it actually out of the free box at the thrift store. So, it's not a precious book. It was heading towards the garbage. So, but it's perfect for what we're going to use it for. Boop, 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 boop. Okay. So, you can clearly see these signatures in here. Why are we having such a hard time with that? I have that light moved away. Booger. Oh, booger. Oh, booger. Ah! Go away. No! Stay. Oh. I didn't say that. Okay. Fighting with the lights. Not unusual. So you see those little V shapes. Those are your signatures. Mm-hmm. What are we going to do to prep this book? Okay, so as you can see, I've pulled out the centers of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, wherever those little bit bigger ones are. So we're going to go to that. That was the last one that I just did. You see how easily that opened up? Do you see those threads in there? These little things right there are the threads. That's what you want to look for. And you want to open your book up and find your threads. Let's go down to the table and I will show you what I'm talking about. And I'm going to actually prep this book. Because I want it to work out correctly. All right, let's go to the table. Bye. Okay, so here was our last signature. And then now we have to look for the center of the next signature. But how do you find it? Well, you find it by kind of searching around. And here is one of the easiest ways. Now you see when I pull that up, that fold, hopefully you can see that, that fold pulls with it those extra pages, right? Right? So that is the center of the next signature. Oh, that's the center. Right? See how those two pages, all of these pages are stacked on each other and sewn in. And that's the easiest way to find it, is if you see that. Okay. I'm pulling out 3 pages out of each signature. I do that quite simply by grabbing them. You can pull them this way. Ta-da! Keep these pages. You might be using them later. All right. I'm hoping that this book doesn't have a bunch of weirdness in it. The Way of All Flesh is what it's called. I don't have a clue what the book is or what it's about. All right, so then I went right next to the next signature. Right? I've got 1, 2 pages, 3 pages. boop, boop, boop. Try to keep your threads clean. And the reason for that is we don't want any extra bulk in there in the center. And it looks to me like that signature has not been completed right next to it. So we're gonna go through here. We're gonna find our center. And yeah, it takes a little bit to find the center of the signature. It's okay, take your time, there's no rush. Okay, there's 3 pages there. Okay. So, now we have a book that has had 3 out of every signature removed. So let's see how many pages are left per signature. 1, 2, 3, I think it's 4 pages per signature are left. Yes, okay. So, what I want to be sure to do, I like gluing about 4 pages together to make a really strong page. All right, so we pulled out 3 pages out of every signature. There's 4 pages left in that signature, so we have removed almost half of the book. And we'll probably remove more. But what I want to do here is I want to look at, I think this is our center signature. Maybe this is the best way to do it. Where's our center? I think that one was our... Why are you thinking about it so hard? I'm thinking about it so hard because it's important to think about it so hard. All right, 1, 2, 3. All right, what I've decided to do here real quick is find center signature to center of signature. And after we've pulled out those pages, that's fairly easy to do. Of course, I need more clips right as I turn you on. Okay, guys, what I'm doing real quickly is I'm going through. Okay, so I've removed 3 pages out of the center of each signature. I'm going through and clipping the signatures, the center to the center. And I am doing this because I want to create a super strong book. And generally, per book, you can get around 12 to 15 layouts in a book. So knowing that, here, see, I hadn't even gotten the center on that one. Okay. Come here, you booga. All right. So now, let's do a quick count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, this is our center of the book. Is it? Is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, it worked. Here is our center. Here's our center. I know what I want to do on that one already. Okay. So now I have to look at each of these, and this is exactly what I wanted. I wanted 6 on one side, 6 on the other, and 1 on the center. Because it'll be just the right size for our book. It really, truly will. So now I have to look at this amount of pages here. Do I want to glue all of these pages together per page? And that's a very strong, sturdy page, right? I don't think that we need to glue 10 pages together. However many pages this is. We don't need to do that. Let's go ahead and take out, I don't want to take out too much. I don't want to take out too little. What if we took out 2 more? And that would leave only 2 pages per signature, but that leaves a page of 4. Which would probably be fine. So with this picture in here, it has an extra page in it, I think is what's going on. Okay, so I've taken out all, you can see which ones I took out and which ones I didn't. I've taken out an additional 2 pages from this one, this one, this one, this one, this one. I did not take it out of this last page though, because I want this to have some sturdiness. So this page is actually going to be super thick here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that's how thick all of our other pages would have been if we would have left all of those pages in. So here we have now taken our signature down to 1, 2, oh, there's still a ton of pages in here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. What? All right, let's see what we got here. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so what there is there is a picture page in the center of each of these signatures, which is going to give us a really nice sturdy page. I'm actually okay with that. I don't usually do my books this way, where I really plan them out before I get started, but this one is going to take some planning, and so I am trying to prep it all before I jump in. Right? Okay, so here was the center. So I did not do this off from center 1. So I'm just pulling 2 more pages out of the center. And I'll clean these pages out better later. Right now, I'm worried about the technical aspect of it here. Making sure that I stay on track and stay focused with removing these pages. Do we have to be this exact with our books? No, you don't. You can do it however you want to do it. I'm just wanting to get this guy prepped properly to where I know how many layouts are going to be on each side, and then our center one. So and then this one we're not going to touch. All right, artists. So with this book, I have removed 5 pages from the center of every signature. Right? So these pages that we have from here to here need to be glued together. And we just do that with our Mod Podge. We do that very simply with our Mod Podge. We're going to take this out of there, maybe. Don't cut your strings. Your strings are still keeping the pages connected to that binding. So this is a lot of pages to glue together. I get that. That's 3 on one side, the picture, and then 3 on the other. I want strong, sturdy pages. If you want to pull more pages out of your book, if you want to have more pages, and it's all going to depend on how many signatures you have in your book. I looked for a binding that was about 1.5 inches thick. There was one that had fewer signatures that would have worked, but I wanted this size. So yeah, I did stop and count the signatures before I chose what book I had. I did. It was part of why I chose this particular book. Is that crazy? Well, I don't think so. I don't think that's crazy. I think it's probably pretty smart to do it that way. But again, you do not have to do your book this way. And you can always glue a couple signatures together if you have extra. Or you can do fewer pages in your book. You don't have to do exactly what I'm doing. Right? You don't. And of course, you can always glue more pages to the back or to the front. However you want to do it. It's your book. It's your artwork. I was specific with choosing this book. All right, we want to have these pages really kind of sit on top of each other as much as possible. So here, they're still kind of squishy, so you can do this. We could clip that actually and make sure that stays super strong. I mean, that's 7 pages glued together. That's not going to go anywhere, especially once we get our fabric in there. Gonna be lovely. Now, as I'm sitting here and thinking about this, if I want to make a frame page. Alright guys, so I am actually gluing the last of these pages to the book. I have Mod Podged everything. I have thought about it. I have planned it out. I have 6 pages on each side and then 1 in the center. I have some pages that I've saved for making frame pages or whatever I want to do with those. So I'll show you those here in just a second. Now, what you have to watch out for when you get to these the seams here is this part of the book. The paper kind of glues kind of funny to that, and we don't want any wrinkles like I just made there. I made a lot of wrinkles right there. I'm not super concerned about it because I am going to be putting fabric over the top of it, and I'll be putting ephemera over the top of it, and all of those things. So some wrinkles, really don't stress about it, guys. It's not like it's the end of the world. Now, do we want excessive wrinkling? No, of course not. Of course not. But here, we're just going to, you try to really get your pages as lined up as you possibly can. And you see how I just did that one? See what? There we go. So for the front covers here, I believe I have 6 or 7 pages that I'm gluing to the front covers. I'm not planning on putting any doors back here or anything. I could. I definitely could. But I don't think I will worry about that, actually. Not with this book. We've done it with the other ones. And I could still, you know, carve something actually into the cover. That might be kind of cool. And all of a sudden my brain goes, oh, you could carve something into the cover. Oh, that would be so pretty. All right, just putting down a generous gob of goop. Trying to close it evenly there. See how well that one went on. That was great. All right. Okay, so everything is glued. I have our secret garden, and then I have our simple exposure on the other side. So I wanted to make sure that what I was doing was, where's our center? Where's our halfway point in the book? God darn it. Oh, hopefully it's around there. It's page 6. Here's our center. Okay. So I'm going to do it this way. So Secret Garden is going to have our first layout here. And then, so this is like 4 or 5 pages here. This is like 4 pages here. So yeah. Okay, so this is 4 pages. So this is our second layout. And what I did was, instead of, I can glue these down later if I want to. 4 pages, 3 pages, 3 pages, 4 pages. So really nice, sturdy pages. If I want to make a frame page out of this second page layout, I can very easily do it now. Or I can, do a pocket page very simply, just like that, right? So I have a lot of options by leaving these pages this way. I just didn't glue all of them together. So the 2 outside, it's the back there. Here's the center of the 3rd layout, right? So there's the seaming there. Here's the 4 inside, the 4 outside, the 4 center. So here again, I've set it up. If I want to make another frame page, if I want to make a pocket page, I can easily do that. So I did not glue together all the pages in this particular signature set, from this signature to this signature. See? That's probably the best way to show you. Signature 3 to signature 4, I just didn't glue all of the pages together. There's like 7 pages in between here. Signature 3 to signature 2. Right? I'm just being selective on how many of the pages that I glue together. So this is still, yeah, here's first signature, first part of the first signature, 2nd, 3rd, 4th. And here's our 5th signature. And then this one is super thick. This is all the pages together from 5th to 6th signature. And then 7 is our center. So this will be the page that brings both sides of the book together, right? So then, for the simple exposure, this will be the side for, I keep putting my book right into that pile of Mod Podge right there. Ugh. Does not matter. It will all get covered. All right, so we have our first signature, and then I did the same. There's our 2nd signature. But I split up the gluing of those pages for that 2nd to 3rd signature. See? I didn't glue all 7 pages together. I glued 4 and 4 and 3 and 3. I just split up the signature to signature. This one, I did the same. So I split up, remember that one is the outside. No. 3 is meant to just be a single page, which you can add on other things to it. 4 is again set up that we can make whatever we want to. We can make a frame page out of it, like this. Right? Or you can make the spinner, or you can make something floating in there. I would love to do another piece of the jewel, the stone drop that I've done before. Wire wrapping. There's a ton of things that you can do with a frame page that we haven't even come close to exploring. Next signature is number 5. So this is the center of 5. Here's the center of 6. So this is big, heavy-duty, 6 or 7 pages glued together. And then our center. Center, center. So, hopefully that was not confusing to you. Just remember that what I decided to do was glue the book from center signature to center signature. Okay. And I knew that I would want some freedom to, work with some of these smaller pages and make pockets or make whatever. So I just planned ahead for it, leaving some of those signatures. Do you have to do this? Do you have to prep the book right off the bat? No, absolutely not. I am just kind of getting the ideas formulated in my brain for how I want this to work. So I did have to plan out a little bit more because I want even on, I want even for center, or for I want even, God, I want 6 for Secret Garden, I want 6 for Simple Exposure, and I want 1 for them to be in the middle of them both, okay? So that's why I did it this way. Can you have, can you do all of them as just signature to signature? Sure, if that's what you want to do, go for it. This is just signature to signature. This one is signature to signature. Right? The back of one signature to the back of the next one. So I think it worked out pretty well. Hopefully that makes some sense to you. I'll watch the video, see if I need to do a voiceover for it or maybe redo it. I don't know. It's hard to explain. Okay. All right, guys. Have a good one. Bye-bye.